Josephine says, I'm sorry that the possible threats to my health due to the pandemic prevent me from being with you in person. I think I have been invited to share with you my thoughts on how to advocate for affordable housing opportunities in Newton. My remarks will focus on the need for housing for extremely low-income households in Newton, based upon 25 plus years of experience. During those years, I have had the opportunity to be a part of, in many cases, the transformation of people's lives, especially the children, when families are able to leave homeless shelters and move into transitional housing and then to permanent housing in Newton. Many of these families are families of color. I want to share with you my thoughts on some steps you might take to advocate for rental housing for extremely low-income households in Newton. First, I would encourage you to embrace the ideology that housing is a human right.
We want housing, yes we do.
We want housing, yes we do.
Affordable housing.
Secondly, take the time to educate yourself about the facts. Let me share with you some statistics from a report called Out of Reach that is published annually by the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, a national nonprofit with the mission to advocate for national legislation and funding to create and preserve housing for these individuals and families with the lowest incomes. The annual income needed to afford a 2-bedroom rental unit at the fair market rate is $73,890. 58% of extremely low-income renter households are cost-burdened, which means they are paying for more than half their income for rent. Massachusetts has a shortage of 159,578 units affordable and available for extremely low-income renters. Those statistics mean that many people in Massachusetts are homeless, especially families with children. Place those statistics in the housing is a human right ideology, and hopefully it will lead you to ask how they impact upon Newton. When you have answers, they can inform your actions. You might start with these questions. Are there any homeless families in Newton? If your image of the homeless is people living on the streets, your answer is likely no. But you would be wrong. In Massachusetts, homeless families are for the most part not visible because it is a right to shelter state. Most homeless families are housed in shelters and in some instances, motels. In Newton, there are several shelters and transitional housing supported by public funding and private donations that provide housing and services to extremely low-income families. These families are considered homeless because they do not have permanent housing. It is in suburban communities such as Newton that the connection between the shortage of units in Massachusetts affordable to extremely low-income families comes into focus. What is needed in order to enable the homeless families currently living in Newton to remain in Newton, as well as enable other extremely low-income families to move into Newton? Lastly, to become the most effective housing advocate you can be, take the time to make a personal connection with a homeless person or family. That human connection will keep you motivated and lead you to incorporate into your call for more housing units the right to housing, especially for children, as a human right. Thank you for allowing me to share some of my thoughts on how you might approach advocacy for those I consider the most in need of rental housing opportunities in Newton, extremely low-income families with children. Thank you.